Let's try and get in a word from this particular student here. It's good to really have you back. Your name?
Priyanka.
Priyanka, what was the first thought that actually crossed your mind the moment you saw the runway?
I was very happy, and landing back to Delhi, I took some photograph of back to home, and I shared with my friends and family, so I'm safe and back.
Where exactly were you in Israel?
So my location was at the central Israel. It's, you can say, around 10 to 15 kilometers away from the Tel Aviv Central.
Right. Talk to us about the situation there, because suddenly you hear sirens going off, the sound of boom, the sound of rockets. Must have been extremely difficult to deal with in the past couple of 3-4 days particularly.
Yes, so this was a kind of first experience for me, and like many of the students who are staying there are for a quite particular long period of time. So they were relaxed and they help us out how to manage the situation and not to panic with the sound and with the vibrations. But yes, initially when it started, we were not knowing that what's going on,
right.
And it started suddenly early in the morning, so that was quite panicking.
Right. And also, do you have your family, all of your family here, or were you staying there with your family? What was it?
No, my family is here, and I.
Where exactly?
So my maternal home is in Nagpur.
Right, in Nagpur. So I'm sure you're waiting to reunite with your family, all of them. And
Yes, of course. Yes.
Right. And before I let you go, what are your thoughts about what's currently unfolding there in Israel? Because you've experienced it firsthand, and you know the kind of predicament, the kind of pain and ordeal that one has to go through in the war zone. And I'm sure a lot of your Israeli friends were actually called up for war as reservists as well.
Yes. A lot of our friends have been called for reserve, and it's really heartbreaking for them to handle. But I would say that they are very resilient species, and even the war goes on, they never stop working, they never stop encouraging you. So when we were coming back to home, many of us said, stay safe, come back soon. So they really care for you in that sense, so it is kind of a relief to stay among such kind of people.
Another student joining me here. So your name?
Saurav.
Saurabh, you're finally back home. I'm sure it's extremely overwhelming and emotional right now.
Of course. Actually, I'm now so much calm, you can say. I'm so much relaxed now.
Right.
So it's like I'm back home from such a long war.
Right.
So yes, I'm really much relaxed.
Where exactly were you staying in Israel?
Actually, I studied in Technion in the northern side.
Okay.
But during this war time, I was actually stuck in the central Israel.
Right.
So where the main incidents was occurring.
Right, so you're actually quite close to the battleground.
Yes, actually on the Saturday morning when the first attack came, I was at the Rehoboth region, just close to in the central Israel. So I was just sleeping in the morning, and suddenly the alarm raised, and I was just at the first moment I did not recognize what is really happening, because we are not accounted with all this.
Talk to us about that a little more, because as soon as sirens go off, you go for shelter, you run for covers.
Yes.
Talk to us about that. How difficult was that navigating through it all? Because it's not something that you go through every day.
Actually, what happened at the very time, actually I was already in the shelter room, because in Israel they have all the buildings, they have lot of shelter rooms, because I think they know all this, because the attacks are very common there. Right. So already keep the shelter rooms.
Right.
So actually I was very close to the shelter room. When the siren came, then the neighbors, they started running towards the shelter room.
Right.
They said we have to be in the shelter room. But I was already there in the shelter room, so I was in one way, I was safe there. So at first we thought that because we know that from the Gaza the missiles are always struck, so it will be within a half an hour or something. But the siren was up to like 3 hours.
Okay.
So we were inside the shelter room for more than 3 hours.
Right.
And then we thought that it is over, but again in the evening again it started.
Constantly sirens going off. But before I let you go, talk to us about the fact that currently what's unfolding in Israel is something that's not really advantageous for anyone, particularly innocent civilians or students like yourselves. Your life, in a sense, you have to come back here. I'm sure you've been in Israel for the past couple of years, past couple of
No,
months.
actually, I have been recently 7 months.
7 months.
I just went back in the March only, this March.
This March. And what were you studying?
A postdoctoral research.
So what are your thoughts currently? I mean, I'm sure you are here, you are safe, but your thoughts are still there with your friends and
Actually,
colleagues.
with this war, no one is benefited, to be honest. Like, there will be harms in both the sides. And if you see if the terrorists, the militants or the military, they will be fighting each other, but the loss is with the normal civilians,
Right.
because the normal civilians don't know what is happening with them, and they are the one who suffers the most.
So I hope you are reunited with your family soon. So here, of course, a lot of these students arriving, waiting to meet their families. As I said, the emotion here is quite palpable. All of them heaving a sigh of relief. We'll take a short break now. There's more news on the other side.